Greetings and salutations. It is I, your humble correspondent in the insurance world, David Duford. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I am here with my friends in the business, Mr. Ethan and Kenny of Medicare Millennials. Guys, say hello.
Hey, David.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yes, we are here because AEP is over, the busiest time of year for Medicare. And we're here to kind of give you a wrap up of how the business went this AEP, plus talk about for both Kenny and Ethan what their strategy is going into the new year about targeting Medicare business off AEP and what they do specifically to make non-AEP Medicare sales a success. So let's jump right in. So Kenny or Ethan, kind of give us the breakdown of how AEP went for both of you. What did you guys end up in the end with sales, and kind of how did it go?
You start, Ethan. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I got to get my brain back on to work here. I've taken about a week and a half off, so trying to focus back in on that. AEP was excellent for me. My record was 150 new plans. We did run into a little bit of a problem with lead generation, as a lot of people that we have talked to ran into, but between our excellent strategies that we developed throughout the year that we've talked about in some of our videos, as well as referrals and good old fashioned just hard work, I hit 150 new plans this year. Well, I got to say about 140 Medicare Advantage with about 10 Medicare supplements. And we threw in quite a bit of life insurance final expense in there as well.
Not too shabby for, 2 months of work or so?
Yeah. And just for an example, I'm probably going too far into this, but as far as my lead return, I mean, we're talking the two that I did do, we're talking less than 1%, even less than 0.5% return. So to be able to kind of throw those numbers against the wall, I was nothing short of proud.
Good deal. Kenny, give us the update. AEP, how'd it go?
Yeah, so I mean, just to expand a little bit on what Ethan said, and we're going to get into this when it comes to a year-long strategy, so selling outside of AEP. One thing that's really important, the reason I sold just under 100 plans, I took 6 weeks off during AEP due to some family issues that I had going on. So I was really proud of that. But the reason I was able to do that, even though lead generation can be very difficult during AEP, and I took so much time off, is really predicated on what we did January through September. It really gave us a base of customers, not only to generate inbound referrals, but there were a lot of people we were unable to help until AEP. So we just had warm leads, ready to talk to us when AEP hit. So I know we're going to talk about this momentarily, but if you can do that every year, your AEP is essentially set up for you from the get-go. And then everything above and beyond that base is just gravy. You can spend the money on leads or whatever it is. But it was successful for me. I'm glad it's over. I actually like selling January through September better than during AEP because most agents are taking that time off. There's a lot less competition, and there's a lot to me, just a lot less pressure to get things done so quickly because you're not competing with every call center and every agent in the world. So that's what we're rolling up. We're really focused. AEP was great. Now we're focused on January.
Yeah, I was hoping you could kind of describe some of this for us. So, and again, thinking of the new agent or prospectful agent looking into selling Medicare, doesn't know much about the business. When you say building the base for AEP, first of all, for you new agents, that's basically October to December. It is the enrollment period, which people who have existing Medicare Advantage plans are allowed to make decisions on switching their Medicare Advantage plans effective for the new year. So it's the busiest time of year. It's the season to sell Medicare. And the question I have for you is, you mentioned a comment how what you did off AEP, so earlier in the year, built up your AEP sales and how it kind of made things a lot smoother. Can you kind of expand what that means and how you're able to accumulate a list of really good prospects for AEP throughout the year from what you were doing earlier?
Yeah, in a nutshell, and I'll keep this simple because I don't want to give away the farm. We'll do that here towards the end. But to keep things simple here, there's really 3 ways to sell Medicare outside of the Medicare annual enrollment period, AEP. One of those is to focus on the low income market. Okay. So you're going to help people maybe qualify for some extra help benefits or even Medicaid, or maybe they already have that benefits and you just help them choose a better plan for their situation. It's the low income market. Another way is the turning 65 market. So those are, you can sell those year round Medicare Advantage or supplement as they age into Medicare. And then another way, and I kind of just lump this all together, are chronic plans and 5-star plans. So you can call areas around the country that offer 5-star plans or have chronic plans. So that those three things create the eligibility a Medicare beneficiary would need for you to maybe become their agent and help them pick a plan. So when you do that throughout the year, it doesn't work out perfectly. There may be instances where they don't have that special election you thought they would in order to get into a better plan for them. So you kind of stockpile those leads, so to speak, so that you already have created and established a relationship to help them during the annual enrollment period when they can make that change.
Okay.
And then furthermore, when of all the people you do sell throughout the year, every customer you create should create at least one referral for you during AEP. So those are the kind of the way that you're creating a base of contacts and leads for the annual enrollment period.
So basically what you're saying is your strategy is to sell during the year off AEP. And for those people that want to switch but can't because they're not eligible, because there are what's called, again, for the new agents, special election periods, that you can absolutely move one person from one Medicare Advantage plan to another's. That becomes basically a highly qualified lead that will do business with you in the future when they're eligible to. And that's what you've been working. That's what allowed you to close around that 100 mark of business from just stuff that you could have sold if they were eligible, but now are. Is that basically what we're hearing?
Yes.
Bingo.
Okay, great. So Ethan, let me kind of switch gears and ask you a question based on what Kenny was mentioning. Can you kind of describe, because both of you pretty much do the same kind of marketing method, this off season, well, you work all year long, but you definitely, unlike a lot of lazy Medicare Advantage agents, don't work. You do work January through September. A lot of agents don't. They just work AEP and then go fishing for a year. Can you kind of describe the January to September market for people who may be unfamiliar with this and what the opportunity is? And Kenny kind of hit on it a little bit, but if you can kind of expand on it, it'd be great.
Yeah. Kenny had missed just one thing. One thing we can't forget about from January 1st to March 31st is what we call OEP, which is open enrollment period, which means you have a one-time, it's not, so AEP, it's the last app wins. Whoever the last person to submit the application before the deadline is the application that goes into effect. During OEP, you just get one switch. Okay, so if somebody uses that in January, you run into them in March, you cannot use that election period. Okay, so that's when you have to find the LIS, the chronic, the 5-star, things like that. During our last boot camp, we had discovered live stream that the DFW market, the market that we're in, is losing 5-star. One of our most popular plans here in DFW went down to a 4.5. So if you caught that, you saw my initial reaction because 5-star was huge for us for 2020. So Kenny and I have obviously had to sit there and go back to the drawing board, figure out what it is that we're going to do, whether we are targeting more people, different demographics. So after March 31, we're going to be targeting a lot of going back to the chronic plans and the people that can qualify for that, as well as the LIS and QMB. We're really going to be targeting those. Kenny, am I missing anything?
I think you forget that not everybody knows what these acronyms are. So
define those for us. QMB, LIS, go for it.
To make it more layman, what I think Ethan was getting at, he described perfectly if you've been doing this, but January through March, a lot of people that you encounter that reach out to you or fill out a lead card are going to be able to change even if they don't have that special election. Okay, a lot of them will. But after that, and then even sometimes during that time frame, the rest of the year, we've got to make sure we market. When he says LIS and QMB, that means they qualify for a low income subsidy of some sort, or maybe even their state's Medicaid program. If they qualify for something along that low income spectrum, we have the ability to do business with them year round outside of any of those general election periods. And then the chronic plans, just to simple for those out there, there's certain plans. If you have certain chronic illnesses, you can change into one of those plans any time of year. So those are things we're looking for. We help other agents learn how to do this. And I think that Ethan maybe.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Real fast, Kenny, I'm going to hit you with a question that you don't know that I'm going to ask you just yet, but I want to show the importance to the people that are watching this on why we talk about these SEPs. What do you say your percentage of business last year was either a chronic or some sort of low income subsidy or Medicaid? What would you say your percentage of business was from those SEPs to show these folks how important that is and how much business they could be missing?
At least 60 to 70%. I mean, so I would say on the low side, 300. On the lowest end, 300 of the plans I sold last year were because we were only able to do that because they were low income or qualified for a chronic type plan. So it's for most agents out there that are only working during AEP, this will most likely double, if not triple, what you could do in a year as far as building your book of Medicare business.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a good point. And that's why we're such big believers in the strategy. It's to me, it's untapped. There's a lot of people that need help that simply don't get it. And again, most agents are just lazy and they don't work. So there's a great opportunity for hard workers. So recapping 2020, Kenny, can you kind of give us some lessons learned? Like what was your overall experience in MA and kind of what you would, share with, a possible agent looking to get into Medicare Advantage?
Yeah, a lot of people that watch our channel, Medicare Millennials, assume that we've been doing this at least 5-10 years. We have been in the insurance business for several years, serving the senior market, but we really just started focusing on Medicare Advantage a little over a year ago, believe it or not. So we did our first AEP. We targeted our existing book of final expense clients. We said, whoa, there's a lot of potential here. We learned how to sell year round, which is, what we did all this past year. Then we did our second AEP, which we just finished, right? So the reason that I break that down is we learned a lot in that time, and we could have done things a lot smarter, a lot more efficiently and better. Here's a couple of the big takeaways that I would share with people interested in doing something like this. Number one, you've got to have minimum a plan to touch all of your customers quarterly. It's going to generate inbound referrals. It's going to minimize fall off, and it's going to just present it. It's something we did not take seriously until about this past quarter, and we have reaped so many fruit from that already. And then the other takeaway that I would give to you guys, and we do help agents learn about this, is if you want to crush AEP, then the best way to do that, so you don't have to compete with the big money, right? The giant call centers, the carriers mailing out thousands and thousands of pieces of mail, the advertisements on TV that millions of dollars are spent on. If you don't want to compete with that, what our January through focus, learn how to effectively sell from January to September, you'll set yourself apart and you don't have to rely on competing with the mega $1 million marketing campaigns out there. Does that answer your question, Dave?
No, I think it's critical. I mean, a lot of people who are watching this are probably final expense agents. A large function of my audience have been doing final expense, and final expense is more transactional, right? It's a one and done. It's a one call close. You're done with it. You move on. You don't ever have to call these people again. And some are going to fall off. Some are going to stick. And there's not really a retention strategy with that kind of client, since most of the income is first year driven anyway. Not the case in Medicare, right? It's a very important tactic to tend to your herd. You want to make sure the herd you've fenced off stays. They don't need to be leaving. And they can, because like you said, there's a lot of money at play here that is going to try to tempt these people from going somewhere else. So that's good that you guys, saw that as being true, because not only does it keep the business you've earned, it facilitates more referrals, right? I mean, you get more people calling you, and those are the best kind of sales to have. So that's great to hear. So kind Can you kind of, you mentioned here in the notes here, you want to talk a little bit about referrals, and you mentioned earlier, Kenny, about the one sale should lead to one referral. Do you want to expand on that at all? Kind of describing referrals, how it relates to Medicare Advantage?
I'll let the king that's taught me a lot of this talk about referrals. Some of the things we do, Ethan, and why that's so effective.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to real fast on the last question you'd asked Kenny, as far as what we really learned this year, the biggest thing that I learned is the longer that I did this, the more that I realized nobody knows what they're doing. And what I mean by that is most agents, a lot of the clients you run into, they don't have a clue about anything when it comes to Medicare Advantage in particular, because I've rescued a lot of folks this year from really bad plans and situations. So what happens is when you run into this and these folks may not even know the problem. Okay. They may not even realize there is a problem because they're healthy. They haven't used it, but the moment they have to use it, they're going to see that it was a terrible plan for what they're supposed to be in. So the moment you're able to realize that, show the customer what's wrong and help them and fix that problem, they become a loyal customer. Okay. You've done something for them that they didn't even know they had a problem with. And maybe they did, but what I'm getting at is you've created yourself a loyal customer, somebody that not only should be with you until they're passing, but they should be bragging about you, talking about you, telling their friends about you, and that's really where I guess, mastered referrals. Is I'm not one to sit there and ask for them. I'm not very good. I don't tell them we're running any sort of contest and the person that gets the most referrals wins or anything like that. I don't do any of that. In fact, I'm probably one of the worst person to learn from as far as asking for referrals. But what I've mastered and what I've done is I've taken such good care of that client. I've built up, how I help this person out, how it could have really gone wrong for them. Should they have used that or have they already have used that? And then just remind them that hey, look, I work the entire DFW market as well as the entire state of Texas. So if there's anybody that they know or have heard of or talked to, whether they post it on Facebook, whether you talk to them every day, if there's somebody that has any problems with Medicare, what I want is when you hear the word Medicare, Mrs. Jones, I want you to think Ethan. That's all. That's it. And so that's all that I've done is I've just really, truly gone above and beyond helping these folks out and really have just engraved in their brain that if they hear the word Medicare, that they need to think of me.
Well, let me add to that, Ethan. You're exactly right. First of all, for all you final expense agents out there, you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't really, I go above and beyond for my customers and really find them the best plan. They don't do that for me. Medicare is different. They live it and breathe it every day. It's not something they cannot avoid it. You will almost never run into somebody that doesn't use Medicare, okay, if they're Medicare eligible. So if you do that same level, if you're a good agent and you like your customers and you make good relationships, you just tend, because of the market, you'll naturally reap more benefits from referrals. They'll talk to their family and friends more so than they will life insurance. And then also, while Ethan said, hey, I help my customer, I make sure they know I'm helping you do this. Well, when you're an independent agent like us, we really are differentiated from most people they've ever talked to about Medicare, because chances are they probably just bought from a call center before. And so you're really they're like pumped. This is a goofy little thing I always remember, but recently, right before AEP, I sold this lady her new Medicare policy. And as I was leaving, she was doing a little dance and song. I've got an agent. It's goofy as heck, but like, you don't really get a life insurance customer like I've got a life insurance agent, but you do with Medicare. There's a big advantage for us independent agents in the Medicare space. And then finally, to add to the referrals, we do the process that we help them, but we teach people how to do this properly. We leave cards that have our pictures on them, magnets on the fridge, and we mail, call, and text quarterly, just depending on the situation, minimum. And it's not a lot. Like, we're not on the phone all the time. If it is, it's a quick fix or it's a referral, but we're constantly staying in front of them. So like Ethan said, they don't think Medicare, call a 1-800 number. They think Medicare, call Ethan. So.
I laugh at the final expense comment. It is very true. Nobody refers. I mean, not nobody. Very, very, very few people refer final expense, and it's probably the most frustrating product I've ever had to facilitate referrals from. That's why I never really focused on it. But Medicare is entirely different. I mean, our clients are sitting around at Hardee's or Carl Jr.'s moaning about Medicare and their benefits and the cost. And it's a constant thing that's always in front of them, right? And most people have issues and problems and questions, right? They're confused. And if somebody can clarify it, and like Kenny said, as Ethan said, essentially, is if you are referable in the sense that you fix problems and solve problems, people are going to want to send business to you because you actually know what you're doing. Because like Guy said, there ain't not much of anybody that does. So lessons learned. Thinking of that, guys. Ethan, you can answer this if you want to jump in. What based off of lessons learned is the game plan for 2021?
Lessons learned. The one that's the most recent on my brain is preparing a little bit better for AEP, whether that be leads, whether that be referrals, whether that be people you've really you've written down. Kenny was excellent at that this year. You've written down, sat with Mrs. Jones here in June, couldn't help her out. So I need to do a whole lot better organization, taking care of that. That's something that I really struggle with. Kenny and I, we're getting to be bigger. We weren't sold initially, but we're getting to be bigger on CRMs, making those phone calls on the birthday, checking in quarterly, things like that. If there's a note that, Mr. Jones turned 65, you need to go ahead and put that in your CRM, let that pop up, go ahead and take care of that. Anything else, Kenny, that you can think of while I'm kind of
goals? He was kind of saying parlay what
goals.
we looked at last year into just big high level. What are you thinking for next year?
Yeah. So OEP, I want it to be bigger than AEP. I'm a lot more prepared, I believe. So I want to smoke my goal of 150 and get it up into the 200s. Ultimately, throughout the entire year, this year for 2020, I was just shy of 600, about 570, I believe. I'd really like to see that get up to the 600s, somewhere mid 600s, for me, myself personally. And let's see. Really, what I would like to also, one thing that I've really been preaching for 2021 is automation. I want to automate things, whether that be text messages, phone calls, voicemails, CRM, whatever, scheduling appointments, whatever it may be. I really want to get automated, and that way I can see a lot more people next year. I want to get in front of a lot more folks, and I want to write a lot more plans, as well as be able to help out on our YouTube channel a whole lot more and creating a lot more content for folks in 2021.
Yeah, I would say my overall number, honestly, my stretch goal is probably 575 to 600. I think I'll probably end up, unless my referral game steps up like I'm hoping, around 500 next year, which is excellent to me. That's great. But work-life balance, if you're doing it right. So, and I think really what Ethan kind of said to me, what I heard was we want to take what was effective and worked last year and just make it a little bit better for 2021.
Clean it up.
There's really nothing, the fundamentals of the way that we are approaching our Medicare business. We didn't invent all of this. We kind of took a lot from different people and made it our own, but there's kind of a pretty clear fundamental system. If you plug into it, you can realistically, your very first year doing this, do at least 200 policies, and that's like low.
Super
very first year, 200 doing this system. So we just want to make that a little bit better, refine it, continue to improve. And then I would just say I'm going to go outside of that fundamental system. And I'm also going to work on a little bit more local networking, BNI groups, because doctors' offices and PNC offices, home and auto offices, they do refer out their Medicare clients very frequently. They know nothing about Medicare. So we've already began doing that and seeing some fruit from it. And we'll teach a little bit more about that in the future. But that's another goal. So on top of the fundamental system and the leads that we do some local networking, because it really does work for Medicare.
I think you guys should hire a virtual assistant ASAP.
think
I think
so.
you're getting busy enough that you need somebody to do some of that grunt work, you know, so you guys can sell and sell and sell. So anyways, a little unsolicited advice. So let's talk about this boot camp we got coming up, guys. Kenny, you want to jump on? Tell us what we're doing here in the next couple of weeks.
I'm pumped for it. I've been waiting. We could have started with this.
Yeah, I know, right?
So,
work up to it, you know.
For a lot of your audience, Dave, especially if they're real niched into final expense right now, they may have not ever seen Ethan and I. Last year, we started our YouTube channel, and really, we're not claiming to know everything, but we've got a good system, and we've been chronicling it. We're just sharing it with people as we go. We do like help coaching and training agents when possible, when it fits into us still continuing to write business. So, Dave has kind of reached out to us, and he's helping us facilitate just a really cool one-day virtual webinar that is going to, from A to Z, all the stuff that I can't get into on my YouTube channel, like the nitty gritty, this is how we do our system, is all going to be available for anybody who purchases and attends this webinar. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to get a hotel room, get comfortable. We're going to bring everything directly to your screen. And if you just, in a nutshell, what it will cover, and I'll let Ethan fill in any gaps that I miss here. We're going to talk about the marketing strategy. So high level, when you had a crappy AEP, you're ready to change that. You're ready to start selling more policies, start building your book. What's my plan? High level, where am I going to get my leads? How much am I going to spend on those leads? And what am I going to get in return for it? We're going to tell you exactly how we make those calculations and plan for the year. We're going to talk about how we book appointments, whether you're selling over the phone or in person. It looks really similar. That if you've sold any top insurance, setting the appointment, getting in front of the prospect is king. It's just as important as finding a lead source as getting in front of the lead. So we're going to go over that. And we'll go over our sales process, which is more of a fact-finding deal with Medicare, but we teach what that actual appointment should look like and give you the template and the scripts that you need to do it similarly to how we do it. And then how to keep business on the book. So we're going to give away the farm as far as what we're doing so that minimal fall off on the back end and maximize the referrals and then, working your book of business is what we like to call it. And teach you how to work and retain that book of business. Who is it for? I think it is for, I'll tell you exactly who I think it's for. I think it's for final expense agents that maybe they still love final expense, but they know that they can add this product and build that long-term stream. Even if you don't want to jump into Medicare full-time, you want it to be secondary to your final expense business. This training you can easily apply it to your business model and still be a final expense agent first. Because guess what, guys, y'all have what nobody else out there has. In existing, you already have a book of business that is largely going to be Medicare eligible. And so you don't even need, all the compliance people worry about, if they're already your clients, guys, you can reach out and talk to them about Medicare and see if they want to sit with you. Perfectly compliant. Because you have an existing business relationship. So this training will be excellent for final expense agents that want to add that or do better at it. It's also good for brand new agents. Look, the only thing we're not going to do is Medicare 101. But if you want to get into this and you want to do our webinar, we'll send you a link and a PowerPoint presentation to help you get some Medicare 101. So when you come in, you'll understand our jargon and our lingo. Okay. So it is for new agents. And then it's also for agents that are already selling Medicare. All they've ever done is sit in a booth at Walmart, which that's ending, by the way. So you better get ready. Or they've never sold more than, 5-10 policies in a month. They want to step up their game. Come talk to us. We have a really good model. We're selling a lot of policies year round. So those are the three people. If you're doing final expense, if you want to get into Medicare with no experience, or you have experience, but it's just not clicking for you, we're going to give you the A to Z. I hope that was concise enough, Dave.
Yeah, I'd say so myself. Ethan, you want to add anything to that?
No, I had a few notes here. but it looks like Kenny's hit nearly every single one of them. I mean, guys, especially the people that are selling final expense right now, you're already in the house. You're already making these folks your clients. And again, Kenny had mentioned something earlier. We spent our entire first AEP selling to our book of business from final expense. So you already, especially if you want to hop into an OEP, you just don't know how to do it. You don't know what steps to take. You don't know how to get in there and act confident or be confident. You're already there. You've already got your book of business. If you watch this video today and you're considering taking this boot camp course with us, I would encourage you from now until then to get a list together of all your clients that are 65 plus to get ready to go sell them come OEP.
And it will include a one-to-one coaching call for sure. So we're going to do a Q&A. So when we go through all of this training, we're giving you the resources so you can follow along: PDF, Word documents, PowerPoint slides. We're going to be virtually, so we'll go back and forth, and we'll have at least an hour of Q&A at the end of it so that you guys can kind of pick apart what we've laid out. But then we'll also set up a 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with you for your individual situation, because we know y'all are going to have those type of questions.
Right.
So it'll be well worth it. I would have loved to attend something like this a year and a half ago.
Right, absolutely. A couple of things here I'm just going to share with you guys. So, we did a survey last year of the attendees at the last boot camp we did. We had 71% rate this a 5 out of 5 and 14% rate this a 4 out of 5, the last event that you guys did. So it was very well received. A couple of testimonials we're reading here. It was the best training I ever received, well presented, well prepared. Everything I learned was simple, easy, and I felt like I can implement it right away. Let's see what else here. Excellent information, the best in the industry. Very good information with new agents. And the last one here, Kenny and Ethan leave no stone unturned in the training they provide in the Medicare Mastery Workshop. They provide key details and a deep analysis on each step needed to be successful selling Medicare plans. They put it all on the table and leave nothing out. And important to note, because they cover everything a Medicare agent needs to understand in selling Medicare and building a $20,000 monthly income on renewals, there is no additional course to purchase. So this is highly rated stuff, guys. I don't endorse just anybody on my program at YouTube. I have a reputation myself that I have worked hard to upkeep and maintain. And I wouldn't risk offering you guys access to shoddy or inferior training if that was the case. These guys are the real deal. They know what they're doing. And you should absolutely consider doing this. If you're thinking about getting into Medicare, you're already selling final expense, and you know that renewal income is something powerful and you need to add to your arsenal, you need to take this course training. Even if you're not going to start Medicare till later, this is something you absolutely need to consider doing. Because it will make a tremendous difference in your income and your life in the direction of your insurance business. So here's what you need to do if you're ready to enroll in this course. First of all, it's limited in capacity. Once we reach the limit, I think we did last time, we're going to cut off new entrants. So we can't promise you'll have tickets available. There's going to be a link above here or below in the description box. It'll take you to a ticket checkout where you can buy the ticket. I'm going to throw in some additional benefits or I should say bonuses as well. So check the page out for more information on that. That'll be limited time. And we do hope that you enjoyed this and consider enrolling in order to get well-trained on how to successfully sell Medicare. Kenny and Ethan, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much.
As always, Dave.
Take care. Bye, guys.